My dear ones, before we speak of fortunes and prosperity, before we ever mention the word millionaire, let us first humble ourselves before the throne of the Most High. Lord, we give you praise. We are grateful for the breath that fills our lungs, the spark that ignites our spirits, and the vision that directs our steps. We ask you to pour out mercy upon us, raise us up with your grace, and grant us wisdom to understand what true wealth really is. When the Lord begins to move in your life, He does not immediately load your hands with riches you are not ready to carry. No, He begins with the soil of your being, your heart. For what is the value of gold if the vessel that holds it is cracked? What is the worth of a palace if the soul inside is barren? Listen carefully, beloved, when God readies you for increase, He first searches the depths of your inner being. He clears away bitterness, washes out envy, and polishes the hidden places with His kindness. He knows that earthly treasure will never endure if the heart has not been trained to manage it with humility and wisdom. I have known men with fortunes beyond counting, yet they lacked the peace to sleep soundly at night. I have met women clothed in jewels, yet their hearts were heavy with loneliness no gem could ease. Wealth without a sanctified spirit is a crown upon a restless head, shining on the outside but crushing within. But when the Lord carefully molds your heart, He is preparing you not just to gain prosperity but to steward it well, to bear it without breaking, to wield it as a tool instead of a prison. He begins by teaching satisfaction in small portions. For He knows if you cannot rejoice over daily bread, you will not honor Him at a feast. He asks in the quiet corners of your soul, can you still bless my name when your hands are empty? Can you still sing when your cupboard is bare? And when you lift your voice in gratitude, not for what you hold but for who He is, then you have passed the first lesson. Only a thankful spirit can be trusted with abundance. Never despise the humble beginnings of your journey. These are heaven's classrooms. In those times when you stretch out your hands and find nothing, your heart is being shaped. You are learning patience. You are learning discipline. You are learning to lean fully upon the eternal arms. God does not want your identity tied to currency. He desires it rooted in His Word. For when storms rise, it is not wealth that delivers you. It is faith, it is trust, it is the peace that cannot be explained. When the Lord works on the heart, He begins to cut away the weeds that suffocate your spirit, pride, greed, jealousy. He pulls them out, sometimes painfully, but always with purpose. For you cannot sow destiny into ground still filled with thorns. Every tear shed in solitude waters the soil of tomorrow. Every rejection, every slammed door is the tool of the master gardener, preparing your life so that when prosperity comes, it does not destroy you. True spiritual wealth is not measured by watches or rings, but by the glow of character. It is seen in the one who forgives when revenge would be simpler. It is found in the woman who gives her last coin to her neighbor, trusting God to refill her jar. It is revealed in the man who bows in prayer before signing any agreement. These are the truly rich in heaven's sight, for their treasures are stored where rust cannot spoil and thieves cannot reach. The Lord whispers, before I make you wealthy in the world's eyes, I will first make you rich before heaven. He trains you in kindness where cruelty would be easier. He molds you in generosity when self-preservation would feel safer. He shapes you in integrity where compromise might promise quicker gain. And as you master these lessons, your heart itself becomes a vault far more precious than any bank. Hear me well. Children, the hand can only grasp what the heart can sustain. This is why some inherit empires and lose them quickly, while others begin with nothing yet leave legacies that bless nations. The difference is not in the hand but in the heart. A heart anchored in righteousness and humility multiplies every blessing, but a heart puffed up with pride will crumble under the very same gifts. There is no shortcut to this preparation. A pure heart cannot be purchased. A spirit refined by God cannot be counterfeited. You must walk through the fire of testing, the slow current of waiting, the wilderness of trials. Yet, beyond these trials lies a beauty beyond words. When your heart is fortified, when your spirit has been stretched wide, abundance no longer intoxicates, it empowers. You will be able to receive without fear, to give without hesitation, to rise without arrogance. That is why the Father begins within. He knows your hands may touch wealth, but your heart determines what you do with it. Will you hoard or will you bless? Will you exalt yourself or will you lift others? Will you build monuments to your name or bridges for others to cross? These answers do not dwell in your bank account, they live in your heart. And so while you wait for God's promises, ask not only for increase in finances but for enlargement of spirit. Pray, Lord, grant me patience to wait for your timing. Keep me humble enough to bear success without pride. Make me generous to give freely and wise to manage well. Prayers like these reach heaven's ears, for God knows a prepared heart will never be ruined by blessing. So, my beloved, do not despair if the Lord delays filling your hands. He is not withholding. He is shaping. He is crafting in you a spirit too strong to collapse, a heart too wealthy to be emptied, a soul too anchored to be swept away. And when His work is finished, when your heart beats in rhythm with His will, He will open the heavens and release blessings that crown rather than crush. Yes, my dear ones, God always begins with the heart. Only a heart molded by His touch can carry eternal treasures and still remain free. And in that freedom you will discover not just riches but immeasurable wealth, peace, joy, love, and the holy privilege of being trusted with His abundance. There comes a moment, beloved, when God plants within you a stirring no man can quiet, no sleep can silence, no reasoning can dismiss. It is the sacred seed of vision. When He is preparing you for greatness, for wealth that surpasses mere numbers and possessions, He begins with a vision in your spirit. This vision is not a passing dream. It clings to you, wrestles with you, and calls out even in the midnight hour. You may try to rest, yet it will whisper still. You were made for more, destined to climb higher. Vision is destiny's language. Before the fruit appears, God lets you glimpse the seed. He pulls back the veil just enough for you to see what could be, what must be, if you would only trust Him. And once you have seen yourself through heaven's eyes, you cannot return to living small. You cannot accept mediocrity after glimpsing the mountain. But vision is not a complete map. God does not hand you blueprints with every detail marked. Instead, He offers flashes, holy sparks, glimpses that stir your soul. He gives you dreams too big for your current means, a call too vast for your present capacity. Why? Because vision must expand you. If your dream fits neatly within your resources, it is not of God. But if it requires faith to pursue, courage to chase, and patience to endure, then, child, you stand beneath divine light. Vision comes with cost. It may rob you of sleep as you rise to record God's whispers. It may separate you from friends who cannot walk where you must go. It may pull you out of comfort, for vision never leaves you where you are. Yet the cost is holy, for every tear shed in pursuit of vision is an offering on the altar of purpose. Think of Joseph, the dreamer, in his multicolored coat. He saw greatness, sheaves bowing, stars honoring. His brothers mocked him, his family dismissed him, yet the vision burned on. Though thrown in a pit, sold into slavery, locked in prison, the vision remained alive. It preserved him until the day it was fulfilled. That is the strength of vision. It outlasts pits, prisons, and pain. When God grants vision, He not only reveals where you will go, but shapes who you must become. Vision requires discipline. You cannot waste your energy when destiny waits. You cannot indulge in every distraction while carrying a sacred dream. Vision trains you to walk away from lesser things to secure eternal gains. Vision also demands faith. It often defies logic. Others may laugh and ask, how can you dream so big with so little? But remember Noah, who built an ark when not a cloud was in the sky. Remember Abraham, who left home with no destination but God's promise. Remember Moses, who stood before the Red Sea armed only with a staff. Each carried vision, and vision carried them. Do not reject your vision simply because it seems impossible. The impossibility is the very proof of its divine source. If you could accomplish it alone, it would not require God. But when the dream is greater than your own hands, when the vision is too heavy for your own strength, you must lean upon His everlasting arms. And there miracles unfold. Do not forget, vision is never given for selfish glory. God does not show you abundance so you may hoard it. He grants glimpses of future prosperity so you may bless nations, feed the hungry, clothe the poor, teach the children, and uplift the broken. A true vision from heaven always carries a mission beyond yourself. If your dream ends with you, it is not from God. But if it stretches to serve, to heal, to restore, then you are walking the sacred path of vision. And child, know this: vision rarely blossoms overnight. A glimpse of your future may arrive in an instant, but you will still have to live it out in measured steps, season after season. The vision will stretch your patience, because God uses waiting to shape you. Don't sprint ahead of His appointment. A dream forced before its time is like a seed yanked up before roots take hold. Embrace the journey. Soak your vision in prayer. Feed it with learning. Guard it from cynics. Keep believing even when others don't. Then one day, after long labor and persistent faith, you'll look around and see the vision standing in daylight. What once lived only inside your spirit will stand in plain sight. What used to be a midnight murmur will rise like a noon-time anthem. You'll recall the solitary hours, the offerings you made, the doubts you defeated. You'll lower your head and confess, "This is the Lord's work, and it shines wonderfully before us." Therefore, don't dismiss the stirrings that wake within you. They aren't random. They aren't silly impulses. They are eternal embers placed in a temporary vessel. When God grants a vision, He entrusts you with a fragment of His purpose. Handle it with awe. Chase it bravely. Shield it by faith, for a God-given picture becomes the lamp that guides your steps toward becoming rich in soul and in daily life. Remember, dear one, vision is not reserved for the powerful or famous. It rests upon the willing, the loyal, the ones daring to believe God's voice over human doubt. If He revealed it, He intends to fulfill it. Keep holding the vision when it feels weighty. In the right time, the very burden that keeps you awake will rouse the world to God's glory through you. Discipline, precious child, is the sacred school where God trains His chosen. Before He trusts you with plenty, before He clothes you in abundance, He proves you in the small. He watches not your conduct when the feast is ready, but your steps when the pantry is thin. He notes your choices not when accounts are full, but when they nearly run dry. Discipline forms the passage from vision to completion, from promise to possession. Without it, even a radiant dream collapses like dust before the wind. Heaven does not pour out treasures on those who won't steward a single seed. Scripture teaches the pattern, the one trustworthy with little will be trustworthy with much. That principle is fixed. If you mishandle small things, your time, your speech, your duties, how will you carry greater matters? If you throw away a single coin, why would God hand you a fortune? Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It molds your inner life so you can hold increase without being ruined by it. Consider the farmer. Before a harvest appears, he plants. He rises early, labors hard, waters faithfully. He doesn't see fruit in a night, yet he refuses to abandon the soil. That is discipline. He trusts what he cannot yet see, and in due time the earth rewards his consistency. Your life follows the same pattern. The blessings you desire call for steady hands, a loyal heart, a trained spirit. When God starts forming discipline in you, He begins with small assignments. He may lead you to set aside a little, even when saving feels pointless. He may stir you to get up before dawn and pray while your body begs for rest. He may nudge you to quiet the noise and open His Word, though everything competes for your attention. These simple obediences, these hidden acts, lay the foundation for greatness. They look small, but they build capacity for what's coming. Think of David the shepherd. Before he wore a crown, he carried a harp. Before he stood before Goliath, he wrestled a lion and a bear. God strengthened his hands in fields where no crowd cheered, long before a nation watched. Discipline is usually forged in secret. Applause won't always greet it, but heaven notices and heaven repays. Discipline also requires a holy no. No to urges that flatter the flesh. No to distractions that blur your focus. No to thieves of your time. Saying no is hard, but self-denial is the ground where self-mastery grows. Discipline is not about living smaller, it is about living free. A disciplined soul is not driven by impulse, chained to habit, or tossed by every gust of feeling. A disciplined soul can stand choosing destiny over desire. Let's speak clearly. Wealth without discipline becomes a snare. Many have grasped fortunes only to watch them vanish. Many rose fast and fell hard. The issue wasn't the presence of money, it was the absence of mastery. But when God crafts a disciplined heart, a little stretches far. In lean times you remain steady, and when abundance floods in, you won't sink, you'll navigate it. Discipline is patience wearing work clothes. It is the grace to keep taking the next step without rushing and without quitting. Results may hide today, and you still labor. Applause may be absent tomorrow, and you still build. Victory might not arrive next week, and you still trust. Discipline teaches you that greatness is not one giant leap but a string of faithful steps. Hear this, beloved, discipline is love. To discipline yourself is to love your future enough not to trade it for momentary comfort. To discipline yourself is to love God enough to honor His direction even when it costs you. To discipline yourself is to love people enough to prepare so that when increase comes you can bless without fear of lack. Discipline is love expressed in choices. Some days your body will push back, and your mind will whisper, "Why try? No one notices." On those days remember the one who formed you, called you, and authored your story does see. He delights whenever you choose restraint over indulgence, focus over distraction, obedience over ease. Each decision is a hidden jewel in your crown, unseen on earth, celebrated in heaven. If you desire to be wealthy in soul and in substance, discipline is not optional. It is vital. The riches aren't merely in currency, they are in the moments you conquer yourself. Riches live in the courage to refuse waste and embrace wisdom, to reject doubt and choose faith. Riches are born in unseen winds. Prayer over panic, diligence over idleness, generosity over greed. These gains stack and multiply like compounding returns until your life overflows. Rise each morning with intention. Treat every assignment, however small, as sacred training. If you sweep floors, do it with excellence. If you handle money, do it with honesty. If you speak, let it be true. The way you manage the little now shapes how you'll govern the much later. And when God finally throws open the windows of heaven, you won't be caught off guard. Your grip will be steady, your spirit mature, your character ready. Hear it again, discipline isn't a shackle, it's a key. It opens doors you never imagined. It carries you from picture to reality, from promise to possession. It is the hidden strength that enables you to carry wealth without letting wealth carry you. Learn it, walk in it, and you will be regarded as truly wealthy, not only by people but before God. Rejection, dear heart, is one of God's most puzzling and least understood gifts. At first encounter, it burns and stings. It can feel like the world pressing you into the ground. Yet when heaven is shaping you for greatness, for spiritual abundance and a flourishing life, rejection is not your foe. It becomes a mentor, a sculptor, a holy companion. It is the Father's hand steering you away from wrong rooms, wrong alliances, and wrong assignments so you can be reserved for purpose. When rejection arrives, it rarely sends notice. It barges in. Trusted friends drift. Doors you prayed for evaporate. Invitations you long to receive never appear. You may cry, Lord, why can't they see me? Why am I passed over again? And the whisper comes, you weren't built to fit there. Those who cannot bear your crown cannot celebrate your calling. Understand this, rejection is not always human cruelty, often it is divine protection. God knows where you're going and who cannot travel with you. He knows which relationships will drain you, which chances will chain you, which paths will harm you. In mercy, He shuts doors. He permits some to miss your value and some rooms to withhold their welcome. It feels punitive, but it is preservation. It feels like being deserted, but it is alignment. Consider Joseph. His brothers scorned his dreams, threw him into a pit, and sold him away. Few wounds cut deeper than family betrayal. Yet every rejection moved him closer to purpose. If his brothers had embraced him, Egypt would never have called. If false accusation hadn't sent him to prison, he would never have walked into the palace. What the builders dismissed became the very stone that anchors the house. Joseph's rejection was God's redirection to a throne. So it is with you. Each time rejection strikes, ask not only why, Lord, but also, where are you guiding me? Rejection never announces that you lack value. It means you are being shifted into a new place. It means the weight of who you are is too significant for where you currently stand. You are being pulled out of the ordinary so you can be planted in the extraordinary. Do not resent the season where solitude surrounds you. It is in the silent hours when no voice calls your name that the Lord's voice becomes clearest. It is in the vacant spaces where applause is absent that you discover how to recognize the whisper of His Spirit. Rejection clears away distraction so you can rehearse for the role that destiny has already written with your name on it. Without the constant noise of others, you finally catch the sound of your own heartbeat, the melody of your calling. Rejection also purifies your intentions. When people overlook you, you must ask, am I doing this for their approval or for God's glory? When others leave you out, remember there is already a chair with your name written on it at His table. Rejection humbles the soul, pulls pride away, and roots your worth in the One who never turns away. It teaches you to stop hunting for validation in human eyes and instead to look for your reflection in God's gaze. And child, I must whisper to you something holy. The very people who dismiss you now may later return needing the gift they once disdained. The ones who laughed at you may come back seeking your counsel. Those who closed their doors may one day come knocking. But by then, rejection will have shaped you, healed you, and filled you with mercy. You will offer blessing where they spoke curses. You will serve those who left you empty. You will extend kindness to the same ones who turned their backs. For when rejection is laid at God's feet, it produces not bitterness, but compassion. Think of Jesus Himself, turned away by His own people, ridiculed by those He came to redeem. The same crowd that shouted, Hosanna, cried soon after, Crucify Him. Yet His rejection upon the cross became the redemption of the world. Out of the cruelest dismissal came the most glorious victory. From the deepest pain came the greatest healing. If Christ endured rejection and yet rose, then hold on, beloved. You too will rise. Rejection is also the sharpening stone of endurance. Every denial strengthens your stance. Every closed door trains you to keep knocking at heaven's gates. Every empty chair at your table makes space for angels to come sit. Rejection hardens your skin yet softens your heart if you allow it. It teaches you not to collapse when people walk away, not to faint when life denies you, but to trust that something far greater is being arranged out of sight. Do not beg to be welcomed where you never truly belong. Do not chase after those who cannot see the treasure you carry. Do not weep endlessly over doors that are locked, for maybe it was God Himself who turned the key. Instead, raise your head and understand that every rejection is heaven's announcement. You are being set apart. You are appointed for more. So when the sting of rejection touches your spirit, breathe and remember this truth: diamonds are not shaped in ease. They are made in pressure, in obscurity, in hidden chambers where no one notices. But when the time comes for them to be revealed, their brilliance cannot be denied. So it will be with you. Your rejection is not your ending. It is the beginning of your unveiling. Rejoice, my beloved, when others turn away. Rejoice when doors shut, when invitations never come, when the applause dies out. For these are signs that God Himself is consecrating you, refining you, pruning and aligning you. And when the right time arrives, the very rejections you endured will be proof of your transformation. You will stand clothed in abundance of spirit, abundance of life, and declare, what people rejected, God has raised. What they refused, heaven supplied. What they threw away, the Lord exalted. So allow rejection to make you stronger, not bitter. Let it refine you instead of weakening you. For rejection is not your finish line, it is holy redirection. And child, when God is shaping you to be rich in spirit and rich in life, rejection is the mark stamped on your path that says chosen, separated, designed for greatness. There comes a turning point in a man's or woman's journey when the voice of God begins to whisper deep in the marrow of your bones, child, it's time to see yourself differently. It is not the whisper of friends, not the echo of relatives, but the mighty call of the Almighty urging you to rise beyond yesterday's limits. True wealth is not first counted in money or carried in bills. It is first planted as a thought in the secret places of the mind. If your thoughts remain tied to poverty, no matter how much money touches your hands, it will slip away like sand between your fingers. But if your heart and mind dare to believe in abundance, even the smallest seed will multiply into a harvest beyond your capacity to hold. A new mindset is not optional, it is divine work. It is tearing down the weeds planted by old words that told you were not enough, by experiences that scarred you into expecting struggle, by teachings that taught lack instead of freedom. But God, in His mercy, begins to press upon your soul a fresh truth. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And when your thoughts begin to change, your life begins to transform. A child told all their life they are unworthy of greatness will shrink back when opportunity arrives. But when that same child hears the heavenly voice declaring, you are chosen, you are capable, you are called for more, suddenly their spine straightens, their eyes lift, and doors that once felt impossible swing wide. The change begins quietly. One day you wake up, and instead of saying, I can't, you whisper, I can. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you thank God for what rests in your hands, no matter how small it seems, and that gratitude becomes the soil for greater blessings to grow. Poverty of thought speaks with excuses, but a mind of abundance sings of possibilities. When God is preparing you to carry wealth in spirit and in life, He begins with your thinking. He challenges you to break cycles your ancestors may have embraced. He calls you to stop looking at the world through the dim light of fear, and instead see it through the blazing sun of faith. I have seen it with my own eyes. Men and women with little education, no inheritance, no advantage, but with a vision burning inside them. And that vision, watered with faith and discipline, became streams of wealth that nourished not only their homes but entire communities. They did not wait for society to say they were worthy. They believed it when God whispered it into their souls. Poverty is not just about money, it is a mindset. A person who believes the land is barren will never sow seeds and so will never reap. But one who believes in the promise of tomorrow will plant even in hard soil, and in the right season, their storehouses will overflow. Changing your mind is never easy. It requires silencing voices that have long shouted in your head. It means refusing to agree with fear, Even when fear comes with evidence, it means saying, I am rich in wisdom, I am rich in courage, I am rich in purpose. And then watching heaven's reaches follow you. God reshapes your thoughts because He knows they will shape your choices, and your choices will shape your destiny. To walk as a millionaire in spirit and in life, you must already see yourself at the table of plenty, even if tonight's meal looks small. Those who shift their thinking carry a certain dignity. They no longer envy the success of others because they know their moment is coming. They no longer complain because they know they are heirs of the kingdom. They walk with quiet assurance, not arrogance, but peace that says, my Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and He will provide for me. That shift in thinking transforms your speech. You begin to speak life where before you spoke defeat. You begin to declare promises where you once repeated problems. And the world, hearing your words, begins to line up with your faith. Beloved, wealth without mindset is fleeting. How many have inherited fortunes only to lose them because their minds were still chained to lack? How many stumbled into opportunity, but wasted it because fear still ruled their hearts? But the one who has been transformed in thought cannot lose wealth, for even if money leaves their hands, abundance remains in their spirit, and from that spirit, wealth will flow again. God prepares you this way because He does not want the blessing to destroy you. He wants it to sustain you. So raise your thoughts higher. Do not say, I am nothing, when God calls you His child. Do not say, I cannot succeed, when success is already written in your bones. Do not say, I will always struggle, when heaven has written abundance into your destiny. Begin to think of yourself as God thinks, strong, capable, chosen, destined. And as you do, heaven will echo your faith, and the earth will respond with favor, opportunity, and increase. My friend, wealth is waiting, but the mind must first be renewed. Change your perspective, and you will change the course of your life. Change your thoughts, and you will alter what you attract. This is the holy work of preparation. God is shaping you not just to carry wealth, but to embody it, to become a vessel overflowing with wisdom, love, and provision. And when you believe this truth in your heart, not only on your lips, you will discover that the millionaire God designed you to be was already within you, waiting for your thoughts to finally agree with His promise.